Okay guys, let's work on a little bit of spinal strength. So a few props that you might want for this practice, either a towel, this is just like a small hand towel, or if you have a yoga strap. For this first thing, the yoga strap is ideal, but if you don't have that, a towel will do. And we're gonna get into hands and knees, kneeling and prone. So if you know that you need a block, an extra towel, and some other things to get comfortable in those positions, go ahead, gather those up, and I will meet you back here. So we're gonna start down on the ground with some spinal hinge point work. So you'll come down to your back, and you're gonna put the item, whether it's the towel or the strap, I don't know why I was having such a hard time with that word, it's going to run perpendicular across your back, and you're going to come down onto the floor. So the first hinge point that we want to work on is in the lower back. So in the lumbar spine, kind of in the small of your back, put the strap or towel there. And then what you're going to try to do is, with the hands out to the side, you're going to locate that strap along the spine and then push that particular vertebrae or set of vertebrae into the item, strap or towel, okay? So you're really trying to identify different sections of the spine as we do this. So you'll press for a long count of 5. And then just try to gently pull those vertebrae up off that item without it turning into a full back bend. Let's do it again. Press down, isolate on just that 1 or 2 or 3 vertebrae that you're in contact with. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now just gently start to pull them away from the strap. Good, let's slide it up just a couple inches so that it's now kind of in the mid-back, right around the lowest ribs. Same thing, try to locate it through that tactile point and start to press that 1 or 2 vertebrae into the strap. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then without a back bend, just start to lift those vertebrae off the strap. Good. Second round, press down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lift. And then we'll do one more hinge point. So slide it up just a couple more inches. Now it's maybe in the mid ribs. And then again, find that point with your back and press into the strap here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lift. Good. It's a very slight or small movement. Press back down again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You probably feel a lot of stuff happening in your core, your midsection, and now lift off the strap. Good. You don't see anything happening like big physical changes with me, but you can actually feel this happening when you're doing the work. And if you're doing this and you're not quite feeling everything that I'm describing, it's okay. Just practice. It'll start to come to you. Slide the strap out from underneath you. Rock yourself up. We're going to make our way over onto hands and knees. And we're going to do a few segmental cat and cows. So instead of just moving the whole spine as one unit, we're going to start down at the tailbone and like a wave roll through the spine until we come into that cat shape, and then we will undo it from the tailbone. So here's what it looks like. Starting from the tailbone, tuck under. And this is basically what you were just doing with those hinge points, slowly rolling through the spine like a wave, rounding, and then the head is the last thing to follow suit, looking back towards your belly button. Now I'm going to keep this rounding in the upper back as I untuck my lumbar spine and my pelvis, and I roll through the spine until I'm in my cow shape with my belly dipping towards the floor, my tailbone turned up. and my head, my gaze looking forwards. If it's comfortable for you, you could take the neck up. Good. From here, tuck the tailbone, round through the back. Head is the last thing to follow suit. Good. Last half rep here. Undo from the tailbone. Roll through the spine. The hands are dragging back to the knees as you go. Nice. Come back to just a neutral spine. Maybe kind of shake everything out. Here's where we're going to sit back on our heels. If this deep knee flexion isn't comfortable for you, take a pillow or a towel. You could stuff it in there. You could also put a block in between your feet here to sit on to take some of the weight. But what I want you to do is be down in this kind of half child's pose, half quadruped pose here. Start with the hands further away, and then if necessary you can walk them in. But what we want to do is untuck the tailbone so that we're kind of blocking lumbar spine, and we're going to work on T-spine, the mid and upper back here. So from this position, however you have set yourself up, we're going to start by dragging the hands backwards to us. So we're going to press down and imagine them dragging back as we present the chest forwards and get into some of that thoracic extension. Now I'm going to press through my hands, push them away from me as I just round my thoracic spine. So nothing changed about my lumbar spine. It's still where it was originally. And then press down and drag back. Starting from your lower ribs, your spine rolls like a wave, the chest pushes forwards. Pressing down through the hands, pushing them away from you, we start to pull back on the spine as if you were pressing it into the floor, into that hinge point that we did earlier. Good. Press down, pull back. Last half rep here. And you might get the shakes. It's okay. There's a lot of work happening here. Good. So we're just going to run through a few reps of these. You can certainly do a few more if you feel like you need it in order to kind of get that brain-body connection. And this is something that you can repeat quite frequently, all right? Come up into tabletop, down onto the forearms, flip them over so that their palms are facing up. And then you're going to shift your weight forwards and the top of your head is going to go into your hands. And you're going to walk your knees in. So now we're blocking our upper back and we're going to focus on lower back. This is weird, I get it. But this is one of the ways that we can start to separate upper from lower spine. So with the head and the hands, we're going to round through the upper back by pushing into the elbows here. And then you're just going to untuck your tailbone, roll through your lumbar spine, and then tuck your tailbone and see how much lumbar action you can get. Okay, so do maybe 4 or 5 reps here. Don't lose that upper back. Keep it separate from what's happening in the lumbar spine. And yours might move more than mine or less than mine, and that's okay. Just trying to bring focus and awareness to these parts of the spine so that you know that they can move independent of one another. And we should always be working to get more movement, more range of motion out of them. Good, finish that up. We're going to come down onto the floor into what I call a Sphinx position. Elbows underneath shoulders. My hip points are pressing into the floor. My thighs are heavy here. So this one we're going to do some pails and rails, which we have done before. Basically a push and a pull effort. So here's where we're going to try to create a little bit more strength in the spine. We worked on mobility. Now let's do strength. I want you to imagine that this is your body, and what we're going to do is try to jackknife the body through the floor, okay? So this is going to be kind of what would feel like an isometric push, and we're going to try to press down and jackknife through the floor, but it's mostly going to create a lot more spinal strength and the shakes. So here we go. Pressing into the elbows, pressing into the hands and the tops of the feet. I'm going to pretend like I'm going to jackknife and push my body in half through the floor. So press down and you'll start to ramp up 10%, 20%, 30% push, and at the same time, you're breathing deep through front, back, and both sides. You might see I have the shakes here from this effort. It's all good. And then let's do the rails, the opposite, where we relax the lower body, the hands press into the floor, the elbows drag backwards to push the chest proudly forwards. Try to create a little more extension in that upper back. Breathe. And then relax. From here, we're going to do another round of that. So the hips are going to stay heavy as the hands and the feet do the pressing, okay? But as we're doing this, don't let the hips travel up. It's like you're doing this jackknife through the floor, but in this position, okay? Here we go. Press down. Elbows, hands, feet start to ramp up. 10% effort, 20% effort, 30. Do as much as you can pain-free here. 40. We're going to stop at 50%. Breathe and push. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hips go down, release the pressure, drag the elbows back to get that thoracic spinal extension. And see if you can eke just a little bit more out, shoulder blades down, back retracted. Good. From here, let's lower it down to the belly. Take a second for a breath or two, maybe windshield wiper those legs if that might feel good for your hips and your low back. And let's solidify that work with 5 Supermans. So hands will reach back towards the hips and the heels. And we're going to lift all 4 limbs up off the floor and hold and go down. Let's do that 4 more times. Each time trying to lift a little bit higher. Hold for 2 and down. Here we go, rep 3. Lift and hold. Your head follows the natural line of your spine. So don't crank forwards to look in front of you. Here's rep number 4. Good. Last one. And we'll hold it for a long count of 5. Lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice job. Hands find the floor. Push yourself up. And we're going to sit cross-legged here. And we're going to work on some spinal rotation. So if you want to sit up on a blanket, if that's more comfortable for you, or on a block, you could also do this seated in a chair. So if being down on the floor in this position is uncomfortable, do it from a chair. So we're going to take both hands in front. We're going to take them over to the left knee so that the back of the hand or the wrist is on the knee. And now I'm going to try to rotate back around to the right. So the arms will stay straight, hand will drive into the leg, and the rotational force here is what we're building strength in. And we're going to do a pails and a rails. So a push and then a pull. So here's what it will look like. Hands either clasped or just clapping together with straight arms. I'm going to try to rotate to the right and push, ramping up from 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, and hold. 3, 2, 1. Now I'm going to try and rotate away from the legs, straight arms. Separate the hands from the leg, but don't bend the elbows to get the rotation. It comes from here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands go down. Take a rest. We're going to do that one more time before we switch over to the other side. Straighten the arms. Sit tall. Start to ramp up that push over to the right, that rotation to the right. 10%, 20, 30, 40%. We're going to stop at 60 this time. 50. Maybe you get the shakes. Maybe you start to feel your obliques working on the opposite side. Work your way up to 60%. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now rails, pull away. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Relax. Come back to center. When you're doing that rails contraction, pulling backwards, try to see if you can shift your attention to the muscles on the back side of the body, not necessarily just that the front, the oblique muscles are doing the rotation. See if you can engage those backside muscles that we did as part of those Sphinx, pails and rails, as well as the Supermans, all right? Let's go to the right. Left hand comes on the outside of the leg, clasp or clap, either way. Sit tall, arms are straight, really lock them out. It doesn't really work if your arms are bent here. We want to create that long lever. So sit up tall and let's start to ramp up our contraction. First time to 40 or 50%, second time to 60, and we'll do the rails in between. So here we go, 10%. You're trying to rotate to the left. 20%, 30, 40. See if you can generate this from your torso, not from your arms and your shoulders. 50. We pause here. Keep pushing. Breathe. And then rails, pull away. 5, 4, 3, straighten arms. 2, 1. Good, relax. And just notice the difference. If you were paying attention to me during those last few seconds, I shifted my focus from cranking, using my obliques to make that rotation happen, to the back of my body. And if you watched, I got like a few more inches of rotation in those last couple of seconds. Let's do it again. We're going to push in, trying to rotate to the left, and then we're going to pull away, kind of like the backswing on a golf swing, which I'm horrible at, but we're going to work our way up to 60% here. So sitting tall, start to ramp up towards the left. 10%, 20, 30, 40%, 50%, 60. This is 60% of your max, safest max effort. So just kind of gauge that for yourself here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails, pull away. Can the focus be on the muscles on your back? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Whew. A couple rounds of that is all you really need. If you want to finish this out with some more of the segmental cat and cows from tabletop, we'll run through 2 of them and we'll finish this out. It's just a nice way to end this kind of work. So from the tailbone, tuck under, roll through the spine, working your way up, coming into that cat shape, really rounded back. And then from the tailbone, untuck, 1 vertebrae at a time. Dragging the hands backwards in space, presenting the chest forwards, finding more extension. Good, last time. Tuck the tailbone. Work your way into that cat shape, and when you get there, start to think about where could I get a little more rounding? Where could I push or tuck under just a little bit more? And then last half a rep, untuck, roll through, push the chest forwards, and come back to neutral. So there you have it, just a quick practice to create some spinal strength and stability. Give that one a try and let me know what you think.